Hi, I'm Joe, and this is GORT, the household robot I'm building. And as you can see, the arm and the head are able to move around now. You're in my space, man. Thank you. Just act normally, please. Anyway, last time we covered the arm, it was mechanically finished, but it didn't have any of the servo loops or the electronic controls built in. Seriously. After taking a break from the mechanical work to finish my voxel camera, it was time to bring the arm to life. I put the AS5600 position sensors in place and made an attempt at making the wiring look nice. After that, it was time to build a circuit board to control it. For this, I'm using the TNC 4.1 as my motor cortex, so to speak, and I decided to save you the anxiety of watching me try to solder and just do it off camera. Besides, I kind of enjoy doing it that way. I put on a good YouTube video and just go at it. I know, I'm weird. But with that complete, I started the programming. I began with the servo control for the head position. Now the specifications for a servo pulse are pretty well set, but these cheap hobby servos don't really line up correctly. So I took a while to calibrate the timing to the actual servos so that I could command them to go to a certain position, and it really was that position. Next came the elbow and shoulder joints. I had already developed this servo loop in a previous video, and so I just had to move it over, but then went through the same process of making sure that the raw numbers I'm getting back from my position sensors correlated to certain positions in real world. I need to know what's 0 degrees, what's 90 degrees, and these have to be fairly precise so that the next part worked, and that is inverse kinematics. I don't want the high-level logic to have to worry about the individual joint positions. I want it to give the motor cortex, so to speak, an XY coordinate for the head, and the TNC 4.1 will do all the math to put the head in the right position. This is done through the magic of trigonometry. Triangles, lovely things. As long as you can work out your arm in terms of a bunch of triangles, you can find any data you want. Now that's inverse kinematics, giving it a location and having it work out the joint positions. I started with kinematics, since it's not inverse. Basically, I want a function where the high-level logic can call, hey, where is my head? And then it can go from there. Now that's fairly simple. I'm using sine and cosine and multiplying by the distance of each part of the arm to arrive at that solution. Hi, one of Joe's other personalities here. At the end of this video, there's two directions I can go. One would be more software, and that is to make this robot drive around and actually complete my slam mapping work, which I've never actually done. The other direction would be to continue on with mechanical work and build the gripper for this thing so that it can actually become useful and manipulate objects. If you have an opinion on this, drop it in the comments, and enjoy the rest of the video. Now to demonstrate this better, I've brought out the dreaded whiteboard. Here, the x-axis is horizontal and the y-axis is vertical. To find the position of the elbow joint, we simply use the equation x equals the cosine of the shoulder joint angle times the length of the lower arm itself. And of course the counterpart to that is the y-axis is the sine of the angle of the shoulder joint times the length of that lower arm. To find the location of the neck joint, or wrist, depending on what you consider it to be, is a little bit more complicated. First, you have to find the real-world angle of the elbow. And that is, you take that angle that you have for the elbow and subtract, in my case, the angle of the shoulder. This will give me the real-world angle of that elbow joint. Now, I take the cosine of that angle and multiply it by the length of the upper arm itself. And that gives me the x position. The y position is the sine of that angle times the length of that arm. Now I take those x and y coordinates and add them to the shoulder joint coordinates. Now I have the real world location of that wrist joint. I gotta find a different way of writing on the whiteboard than from that side of it. That hurts my shoulder. Okay, now it's time for the inverse kinematics part. Now we know the position that we want this wrist to end up at. So we're going to solve the joint positions using two triangles. The first one is a right triangle, and it goes from the shoulder joint up to the wrist joint. Now we know a lot of things about this triangle, everything we need to know. For one, it's a right triangle, so we can use Pythagoras' theorem to help solve it. The other part is that the horizontal and vertical edges of this triangle are equal to the xy coordinates that we want up here at the wrist point. So we use Pythagoras' theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, to find the length of this third edge, and that will be the distance from the shoulder pivot to the wrist pivot. Now, with that known, we know all three sides of this triangle here that goes between all three key points. And from that, we can use the law of cosines, which I don't have memorized, but I found it on mathisfun.com, and I really liked the format of their page. Here it is right here. Now, using the law of cosines, we can determine the angle of this elbow joint here, because that angle is determined only by the distance that we want between the wrist joint and the shoulder joint. With that figured out, we now need to solve the shoulder joint. That one's a little bit more complicated, but not by very much. What we do is we use the law of cosines once more to determine the angle between these two edges of the triangle. Then again, we use the law of cosines, or a tan 2 in many C-based languages, including Arduino, which we're working in here, to determine the angle between this line and the horizontal line of that first big tall triangle, the right triangle. Once we combine these two angles together, we get the actual joint angle here for the shoulder. And voila, we'll feed in an XY coordinate and the arm will go there. Now it was time to start working on the head movement. Now I wanted the head movement to be in relation to the ground and not the arm it's attached to. So I created a variable where I simply combined the shoulder angle and the elbow angle and then added it to whatever angle I wanted the head to be at. The final step with the head positioning was that I didn't want to give it a raw angle or an angle relative to the earth. I wanted to give it a point in space that it was going to look at. This way, as the head moves around, it will track vertically very nicely to continue to look at whatever point it's been commanded to. Now this was done very easily. Once I had that horizon compensation variable, I guess you'd call it, put in there, where I'm combining the two joints down here. After that, I just used, again, the function a tan 2, which I can give it an xy coordinate for the spot that it's looking at, and it'll return to me the angle that the head should be at in order to look at it. That was really quick and easy to plug in. And now I have the head moving around to any point in space and looking at a specific point in space. This can be also very helpful in fine-tuning the knowledge of the position of an item, because it can move its head around to take angle measurements in several different places in order to know exactly where that object is, sort of, triangulation, on top of the time of flight camera that it's got for ranging. And at this point in the video, I'd like to take the opportunity to ask you to like it if you like the video and subscribe if you want to see more, as well as leave a comment if you have an opinion on which direction I should go with the robot next. Should I give it a gripper so that it can do useful things, or should I continue on with the navigation stuff since it can now move around and look around and has all that infrastructure? Now, just to be completely transparent, there is no artificial intelligence going on in my opening clip. That's all pre-programmed moves to show off how the robot can move. But I think it's entertaining, kind of cute in a way. It's just fun. Anyway, I'm Joe, signing off.